I will have 3 sizes for you to choose from. These are the ones I have over with me right now. So these are going to help you draw your octagon. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 octagon, 8 sides. They are your tracer, sure, but when you're tracing on flimsy paper like this, you can't really trust your hand. So we are using a ruler to help us. I want you to kind of play around with the composition of this. Sure, an artwork can be interesting if this is smack dab in the middle, if there's some stuff going on around the outside of it, or if this piece is just so truly interesting. A lot of times, visually, your picture is more pleasing if it's slightly off center a little bit. Maybe you want to use several of them. So I just ran to grab more. Maybe you want to play with how it looks when things kind of go off the page a little bit. Maybe you want to mix up sizes. Totally up to you. This could almost look like space. Maybe you want to just use the same size. Okay, so these are my 2 examples of what you're hopefully going to have done today. So I used the little ones, and it started from one side and kind of snaked around to the other side, and notice they're going off the page. And then this one is kind of in the middle, but then very slightly off to the side. All right, so I'm going to use a big one and only one just to save time. You may create your composition any way that you want to. All right, so I've got this stuck down. You're going to use a ruler, and it is a lot to juggle. So whichever hand you're writing with, keep the pencil in that hand the whole time. The other hand is very busy holding this tracer down as well as the ruler. So I'm going to line my ruler up, the edge of the ruler up with the edge of the shape. Right. And I can't quite see where that is. About the 8 and about the 14. Or, yeah. All right, there and there. Maybe you should do it so you can measure too. 0 to a little past 6. 0 to a little past 6. And draw the line. So you're going to do this all the way around your shape. And it is, notice my hand, I'm like bending my elbow and arm all the way around to make this happen. Here, I'm going to show you. Hi. So my elbow is like over here when I'm doing this, kind of moving my whole body to make this happen. My hand is staying on this tracer. I'm spinning this, and then I'm holding the tracer and the ruler in place. So it's a lot to juggle, but it's going to be worth it for these straight lines. It also is just really good practice for you to practice with the ruler and also to practice with your motor skills, just keeping everything where they need to be. All right, boom. So I'm missing a little spot here. I'll fill that in, no worries. All right, now is the fun part. So you get to decide how you want your octagon to look. There are tons of outcomes for this. Do you want your lines to be straight across? Do you want more of like a checkerboard pattern? Do you want a starburst type thing? When I did this one, I just started, here look, I even numbered it, and I do recommend numbering which one you start at so you keep in mind or keep that remembered, because you are going to have to start at 1 and do the same thing on each of the points. So I started here at 1, and I drew a line. I skipped 1. I drew a line across this way, and then I went right to the next point, drew a line there, and then done. And then I went to number 2, and I drew a line here. I think this will even help you if I draw over this. So look, started at 1, there, and to the next point, there. And then I came to number 2 point, and I drew a line there and there. So look here, so point number 2 and down. And then I just slide my ruler over to the next point. See how point. I'm at this one, and then I'm going to slide the ruler over to the next one, and boom. And I did that all the way around. So I only drew 2 lines from each. You can draw 8 lines from each. You can draw 3 lines from each, whatever, totally up to you. But this is how it should be done. Pick which one you're starting with. Number it or put an X or smiley face, whatever. You're going to erase that later anyway. Then you are going to start at that point, that intersection of lines, okay, right there, and decide where you want it to go. And you're going to do the same thing from each point. So you need to remember. So if I went straight across to this point here, I'm going to go to the next one. And I'm going to go straight across and to the next one and go straight across and to the next one and go straight across. And I don't need to go finish because it connected all the way through to the other side. So then you can see maybe you want to have another line that skips 2 dots, points. Here's 1, 1, 2, 3. Come over here and I'll draw a line. And then I'll go over to number 2. I'm going to skip 1, 2, 3, and then I'll draw a line. 1, 2, 3, and draw a line. Do you see what I'm counting? So here's the point, and I'm counting 3 points backwards to make sure I keep up with the same thing. Point, 1, 2, 3. So this 4 is going to connect with the 1. Count backwards. 1, 2, 3, and go. And it does not need to be this complicated. 1, 2, 3. You saw the first one that I did was pretty simple. It was basically just a V drawing from each. And they look really different. So you decide how you want this to look. There are just tons of ways. So do not fret if yours doesn't look like stained glass or like a snowflake shape like this. Yours it's going to look different. They all will look different. You can decide how intricate, so how many lines you add, or how simple you want it to be. This one is not very detailed at all. I only did 1 point for these because I used so many. If you do more than 1 shape, you do not have to make it all make sense like this one. This is your design. What you will be doing is adding different color schemes to each of these areas of the picture, and we will talk more about that next time.